Hey, today I thought it would be fun to share a little bit about my experience with plant medicine, in particular, what I'll refer to as mush. Um, this is the direction that my heart is leading me in my business, and so, of course, you guys know me, I'm an open book. I want to share my experiences along the way, hoping that it will help someone else. So, disclaimer here, these things that I'm sharing are for educational purposes only, just sharing the educational information. I'm in no way encouraging or recommending the use of illegal substances. With that being said, let's get into it. So, probably won't be a surprise to hear that along my journey, I have had opportunities to try different plant medicine. In particular, mush has been something I've dabbled with here and there as a recreational thing. It was always a fun, exciting thing with friends, laughing so hard, and a good time. Until recently, I hadn't considered the medicinal qualities that this plant can offer us. And as I've stepped into becoming an entrepreneur, I've shared this already, but I'm now looking for opportunities and saying yes when I think I found an opportunity that will serve me. So this fall, I was presented with the opportunity to try the mush in a more thoughtful, longer term way, an 8-week period. And so I found myself saying yes to this opportunity. And honestly, I didn't really know much about it or what I was getting into, only the experiences that I had had in the past. So kind of taking a leap of faith and again, not really knowing what I was getting into, I said yes to this along with coaching. So, you know, I will say I didn't have any expectations for this, but what I found was a very powerful tool. So the beautiful thing with this is that it's a very, very, very small amount of the medicine that you take. Not enough to cause hallucinations or changes in your perceptions that you would typically think of when you think of mush. The first time that I took it, I noticed myself feeling a little tired, and that lasted about 45 minutes, and that was it. I kind of just went about my business, and that is kind of how things continued. I was taking it 3 times a week in the morning. Yeah, and I didn't really notice anything good or bad at first. And then I would say about week 4-ish, so about halfway through, I noticed something had shifted. Something was different. I kind of looked around and realized I was able to slow down a little bit. As someone who has been chronically anxious and depressed, this was something new. So at this point, I was already doing mindfulness practices somewhat regularly. I had been doing them regularly while I was training to become a coach, and then less regularly as I left the program. It looked like more like a few deep breaths before a work shift. So doing that, I was doing yoga regularly, almost every single day, which of course includes breath work. So my anxiety had already come down some, but as I said, I noticed myself being able to slow down, take a breath, instead of that instant gut reaction, whether it's anger, whether it's disappointment, whether it's sadness. So it just kind of allowed some space for me to notice what was going on around me, and kind of notice some of the patterns and unhealthy responses that I had to situations. I believe that it also allowed me to let go of a lot of the limiting beliefs and assumptions that I had about myself. A lot of the things like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm never going to be successful in business. I'm unworthy of love, those kinds of things, which I guess wasn't a surprise because the whole idea behind mush medicine is that it allows neuroplasticity. So it allows our brains to rewire themselves and become more flexible so that you can learn new things more easily, but you can also let go of some of these long held beliefs much more easily as well. And the idea is eventually you will not need this medicine. Like once your brain rewires itself enough so that you are feeling your best, you're not going to need this medicine. And that is definitely one of the things that appeals to me as a psychiatric nurse. I spent my career honestly pushing pills at people, which it definitely has its place. Don't get me wrong. Medications can be life-saving, but it's not, unless people are doing the work to regulate their nervous systems, to learn about themselves, it's not a great solution. And people don't like the way that the medications feel in their body. There's so many side effects. They often go off of the medication, which I can kind of understand. And the more times that you stop a medication and then go back on it, the less likely it is to be effective. So that's one of the reasons I am out of alignment with nursing. I mean, I've had to force treatment on people so often, people that don't want this treatment. It just doesn't feel good. So the fact that the idea is to no longer need this medicine in the future really appealed to me, as well as the fact that it's very safe when you compare it to other medications. One, it's from the earth, which is beautiful. Two, there really aren't that many contraindications. You definitely need to be careful with people with severe and persistent mental illness, especially bipolar or psychotic disorders like schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder. If you're on lithium, that's a hard no. If you're on an MAOI, that's a hard no. And of course, you have to be careful about going into this world, but in general, it's pretty safe. So that appealed to me as well. But anyway, as I continued on this journey, I found myself really becoming a different person, if that makes sense. The fears that I had held on to for so long no longer seemed important. I found myself speaking up in situations where I typically would have been a wallflower and not said anything because I was so anxious and unsure. I believe that it also helped with my migraines. I've had migraines for a very long time, and knock on wood, I've only had one since the summertime, which is pretty amazing. It does help reduce inflammation, so that's beautiful too. Many different uses there, right? Yeah, and I think my mood has improved. What I really say is that my heart has softened. I always have been someone who joked that my heart was cold as ice. I mean, I've had to put up a lot of walls as a nurse. If I really stop to think about all of the situations that my patients have been through, it would have broken my heart. So I've definitely had my guard up, my armor up for a lot of years. I'm terrified of being noticed in the past, and that is no longer the case. I am willing to step into conversations with people I don't know and talk about all the things. I am sharing my story. I am stepping up as a leader in the nurse coaching field. I am posting videos on social media every single day. I am having conversations with the people in my life who matter to me and talking about what's really going on, what has been going on in my life. And the biggest impact that it has had, honestly, has been in my relationship with my boyfriend. We've been together for almost 16 years. Started from an unhealthy place, which I've shared before. Both of us were drinking a lot and really not in touch with our bodies, our emotions, our hearts, anything like that. So I really, in all of my relationships, have sacrificed a lot of myself to the point where I didn't even know who I was anymore. And the mush has given me that space to really sit in quiet contemplation, consider who I've been, who I want to be, and all of the things that I can accomplish in this life. Like, I no longer see any limit to my ability to make my dreams come true. And I don't even think I know what all of my dreams are yet. I just have really big dreams at this point. Like, why shouldn't our lives on this earth be as amazing as they possibly can be? And this is my mindset. And I believe that has been the medicine of mush that has gotten me here. So there's that. I just felt like it was important to share this. If you are curious, if you have questions, if you would like to know more, let me know. Let's have a conversation. I'm all about making new connections. I want to help everyone out there have the best lives they possibly can. So let's do it. Let me know. And see you soon.